HV'd Hex. How do you say this girl's name, bro? The freaking celebrity on Twitter. Bro, just imagine if you guys were beautiful like her, how many impressions you would get. You know, female privilege. It is what it is, though. She does good work for the community. Who thinks Hex can reach $100? I said that would 10x the amount of billionaires on Earth at the current rankings. But yeah, 10 to 15 years, a lot of those people will probably scale out as they get a lot of wealth. I don't know what y'all think. Drop a comment below. Can Hex reach $100? Never say never. Look what Bitcoin did. I don't know if you guys saw this, but Richard Hart did a little rebranding. You can see right here the before and after. All right, and I really like this. It seems like Richard's kind of pivoting. He says he goes from saying he owns the world's largest diamond, 10 million in watches, basically just flexing like a really aggressive elevator pitch, even though he's not wrong, man, you know? But we live in a world of insecure people. And so I think Richard's starting to understand that, because not everyone has that self-confidence that Richard has. Not even self-confidence. Like, the dude loves the out of himself, right? But that alienates a lot of these insecure soys. Now he has Richard Hart as a force for good. He recently went on Twitter and he said, tweet below if I've ever helped you or done something positive in your life. I love this framing. He says, I was born into a poor family in a poor neighborhood. It sucked getting made fun of for using free lunch vouchers at school. Being a racial minority at school also came with its own challenges. Guys, I know that. I worked in a 75% Hispanic, 24% Black, about 5 white kids in the whole school of 2,500. A lot of people who are white, you might have gone to a school that was predominantly white. If you're older, you definitely did, because the country hadn't racially changed yet. But when you're the only white kid in a minority school, a lot of white people haven't had that experience because we haven't really typically been minorities. Getting jumped was no fun, but that happened in and out of school. Working with my dad delivering newspapers and fixing air conditioners was a great experience. Sleep deprivation at starting work at 2 a.m. made the alcohol and drug addiction of the people you worked with seem less serious. Fixing air conditioners in the Florida summer is always fun, because first you're going somewhere the air conditioning is broken, and second you're likely to climb in the attic where it's even hotter. To endure the tar and fiberglass while the sweat keeps stinging your eyes. And then you put some pictures, and I haven't actually seen the rest of the website, but I really like this rebranding. I think it's going to be more attractive to people that aren't as confident and secure as people like Richard Hart. And I think it's just overall pretty good stuff. I dig it. Let's see, is there any? Yeah, so here's all the tweets of the people that helped Richard, or that were helped by Richard Hart. I really like this rebranding. This guy posts, we have a dumper address. This guy has like 90 million hex and 90 million staked, and he's been dumping millions. But the point I want to bring up here, this guy's dropped from 39,000 T-shares. Talk about a bag. Down to 18,000 T-shares. So buddy's still doing all right. Funding Jim came out. Funding Jim really put his Red Bull can out on the table. He says comparatively, he is a guppy. He's a little guy in Pulsechain and PulseX. But this guy sacked 270K, $250,000. He's gonna have 4.4 billion pulse. So would you guys classify someone that put $250,000 into Pulsechain as a guppy? I think Funding Jim's just speaking from the point of view that this guy's a whale. He's probably putting a lot more than this, but I wouldn't classify 270K into Pulsechain as a guppy. Comment below. Maybe I'm wrong. You guys be the judge of that. What do you guys think about this Texan token? I'm a big fan. I haven't been on YouTube in the Hex community for a while. What's his name? How am I forgetting his name? He's like the philosophical Richard Hart, but what is this guy's name? Who founded the Matt? I forget what his channel is. Crypto Heartbeat. That's who it is. This guy says, I call out all Hexicans to support Matt and Rags. Texan token. Matt and Rags are both big supporters of Hex and Pulsechain community, and they're still streaming Hex and Pulsechain content. So basically, pump their project and support it. Now I'm kind of torn on this, right? Because a project like this doesn't really attract people outside of the Hex community. And Richard always talks about this. If you're gonna start a project, don't snipe our users, right? Target outside the community, and then maybe that brings them into the Hex community. Token like this, I mean, it's doing pretty well. I looked at the chart, but it's also basically just a Hex copy and paste. Like, I might do a Michigan token now. You stake your Texan token by locking them up. You earn interest in yield, which is programmed in the contract. Base rate's 5%, but you can get an annual average of 87% if you stake for 22 years. It's basically a Hex copy and paste. And no disses to Rags, no dissing to Crypto Heartbeat. They have done a lot for the community, but personally, it kind of turns me off when people just launch these tokens and stuff. I'm not sure what it has to do with Texas. Honestly, I haven't even researched it in depth. I do like Texas, but what do you guys think about this project? This Hex copy and paste? Personally, I think every dollar you don't put into Hex, Pulsechain, or PulseX, kind of a losing decision, but you can do what you want with your money. That's not up to me. HV'd Hex. I really don't know how to say this girl's name. She says, nice. Richard Hart online on GitLab once again. So I guess Richard Hart, because he's not a developer, he doesn't typically get on the GitLab. But every time he's on the GitLab, he tweets about it and says Pulsechain is close. So, I mean, I guess that is good that Richard's, if he's actually checking the GitLab, he's not doing the coding. So they must be making progress. I can't say this guy's name anymore. Wales only, though. Yeah. It says, just a heads up. Liquidity pools are near all-time lows for Hex liquidity. Post a big payday. And he shows the liquidity on Uniswap V1 and Uniswap V3 for Hex. And we can see right here, it's at the lowest it's been post big payday. Lower the liquidity. What does that mean? Fundamentals, right? Less liquidity. Yeah, it can dump easier, but with Hex up, what is it, like 100%? I guess in the past 2 months, it's up like 4x, right? I don't think a lot of people are looking to sell their Hex. I think it's the other way around. Whenever Hex goes on these little short-term tears, people typically, tend to FOMO in. So positive news, liquidity is low. We got lots of pumping to do. DeFi Mama says, did Richard Hart get someone pregnant? He's acting all mature and humble lately. I just thought this was a funny tweet, but I do agree with her that Richard, I mean, he's always, I don't know if I would say he's acted immature, but it's less of the flexing and in your face. I don't care about. I can see past the personality and look at the actual qualities of a project. But like I was saying earlier with these insecure soy boys and just soft people, a lot of people, they just can't see past Richard's antics. And I think it's good that Richard's catering to these people now. Even though they're not on his level, I think this is the much better strategy. So I'm glad to see this. And then what the hell is going on with liquid loans, guys? This is why I said don't put money into these fucking shit projects, man. I hope all these projects succeed. Right? Mintra, they raised 10 million. But we all know Mintra is going to be an L. I'll just keep it a stack with you guys. I've done NFTs. I've done probably know a lot more about NFTs than Gerardo. Definitely do. And nothing against Gerardo. He added a lot of value to the community, like Rags and Matt. But yeah, I don't think that project's going to go anywhere. So this guy said, this week I decided to leave the Liquid Loans team. Hope my content helped educate, made you chuckle, and above else, brought attention and professionalism. So like, what's going on with this? These guys raised 57 million, and I don't know anything about Liquid Loans except for the general concept of what it is. I don't know about the team, don't know about the details. I'm not interested in taking out loans. I want to cash out, I'll cash out. I'll scale out on the way up. Some people like this protocol, maybe it has value, but to me, it's a big red flag, man. This guy goes, can you elaborate on that, please? You were the face of Liquid Loans. First Jesse, now you. Wait, Jesse left Liquid Loans too? Is this true, guys? Did Jesse leave Liquid Loans too? If so, that's a major red flag. What the fuck's going on here? 57 mil raised, and now 2 of the lead guys are leaving? I'd definitely be excited if I sacked money there. He says, once something runs its course, it's best to move on. What are you talking about, man? I don't know. I just don't like seeing that. I don't know if this Jesse guy left or not, but I just boosted you on Telegram, Hex, and Pulsechain groups. Thanks, buddy. I have a few more things to cover, then we'll do the live call-in show, all right? Leet Juck. He said, okay, I know you Fosicans, you fake hexicans, and hex haters have smooth brains, so I'll try and keep it simple. So I haven't really been following, like, honestly, I've unplugged from Hex and Pulsechain community because there's only so much stuff I can repeat when it comes to Hex and Pulsechain. I know you guys see I was posting a lot of Richard Hart clips because, like, I don't know what other content to say. I've said everything I can about Hex. At this point, I'm just saying the same shit about Pulsechain. And honestly, I don't care when it launches. I haven't gotten any less bullish. I still have as much faith as I did when I aped into it day one. But I guess they changed Hex staking to mining now. And I think that could be a little bit to do with, I don't know if you guys saw this, but the SEC sent out Wells notices to a bunch of DeFi protocols. I don't know if it's public yet, but it was on one of the biggest crypto podcasts. It's called the, sorry guys, I've been up last night since 9 p.m. I know it's the morning for y'all, but I'm fucking tired. But I want to do this. They sent out Wells notices. SEC Wells notice is basically they're saying they're going to investigate you. Okay, it's basically like a, not a subpoena, but just a memo saying, yo, we're looking into this. And Coinbase, right? They're staking. They got in trouble for that. Was it Gemini Earn that also got in trouble? So I don't really, did we change the terminology to mining? Not really sure, but from what I've seen on Twitter, it looks like that. And I think it has to do with just this attack on staking and the concept of pooling funds to a centralized entity, which isn't really what Hex is, right? Mining kind of is a better term because a lot of these staking protocols on big exchanges, you're pooling your funds to the centralized entity, they make yield, and it trickles down a little bit to you. So I don't think it's a bad change. This guy, though, he disagrees with me. He says, I really don't like the mining term. I think it would be best to use a new term in the industry. Mining screws a lot of the really good brandable quips like, I'm staked 5555, etc. I think it should just be called lock and earn. Lock and earn, kind of a whack name. I think mining is much better, but that's just his 2 cents. Then we have KDP Crypto here. Yes, crypto communities are already planning on adopting Pulsechain. We have this guy, Dino LFG. Not sure who this is, but I think it's a project in the Shiba Inu community. And he says, did you know that Dino Treasury holds 250K of the Pulsechain sacrifice tokens? So it's always great to see people outside of the community. Maybe this is a Hexicans project. Maybe this guy already had Hex. Most likely, if he got $250,000 into Pulsechain, maybe he just heard about the project. He followed Richard Hart. But this is what we need to see. We need to see people outside the community. We need to stop starting projects and just crowdfunding from the community. We need to stop copy and pasting sacrifice phases. I mean, guys, that's pretty crazy, is it not? The biggest sacrifice phase in the community, they raised, what, 50 mil? And two of the biggest guys left. And why did they leave? They say because once something ran its course, it's best to move on. I don't like that. And this is speaking of other tokens. This is not a sponsor. I don't give two shits if you look into this or not. But you guys know how Ethereum switched from proof of work to proof of stake. Tons of people had lots of miners. They're no longer mining. I don't know if you've heard of Kaspa, but the guy that founded it is really smart. I haven't bought any of it. All I'm doing is mining it. But this token is hitting all-time highs in this shit market. I think it's just because a lot of miners, they're not going to mine Bitcoin. It's dead. But you look at the chart of this thing, and it came out in November 2021. And if you have an extra GPU, I'm not recommending you buy this, right? I have no idea if the whale centralization, but I'm mining it. So if you guys have extra GPUs, look at this chart. It goes up, capitulation, goes up, capitulation, goes up. Pretty bullish on this. So if you haven't heard of Kaspa, don't buy it. But if you got an extra GPU, mine it. Why not? Free money. Not a sponsor. I'm just here to provide value. And Yeah, print some money out of free air. Why not? All right, guys, so that's all I got for the show.